all, I will say that it's a privilege for me to be here, surrounded by so many inspiring women, and thanks to my colleagues in Visma that invited me. I am happy to be able to share our experience in working with ethical hackers in our company in Visma, because we are doing this for more than 5 years, so we pretty much have an experience in regards of this area, and we do this through the help of two services that we provide as part of the security program. They are called bug bounty and responsible disclosure. So people that are working in security are probably familiar with these concepts, but for the ones that are not, I will also briefly explain what is all about. A few words about me. I joined Visma 5 years ago as a security engineer, and after a few months I was introduced in the world of ethical hackers because we were already having the responsible disclosure program in place, and a few months later, in the first year, the bug bounty program was also launched in the company. So I am doing this since then. I am based in Timișoara, Romania, and my role is currently to manage the bug bounty program and to help the internal teams to onboard smoothly in the program, and also to help them throughout the bug bounty process. And last but not least, to keep the hackers' engagement, because in such programs it is very important to do this. The agenda for today. First, I will make a short introduction and tell you more about our company to create some context and understand exactly what scale are we talking about in Visma, how many companies we are helping in the security team, and also say a few words about the Visma security program, because that's a program that we have developed in order to help all these companies that Visma has. And bug bounty and responsible disclosure are part of this program. After that, I will explain briefly some concepts about hacking and hackers, and I will jump after that into the bug bounty and responsible disclosure world, explaining you how we do it, how it is the entire process, what the internal teams need to do before they join the program, along with common vulnerabilities, because maybe you will be wondering what kind of bugs we get from the hackers. So I will show you the stats and how we are in terms of common vulnerabilities, but I will also show you some critical findings, because those really can have huge consequences on the companies if they are not discovered and fixed. And usually the critical bugs are sent by exceptional people. So I will also talk about some of the hackers part of our private program and show you one of the most interesting reports that we got so far. If you are curious about some program stats and costs, how much it takes for a company to run such a program, then I will share this information also, because it is not confidential. In Visma, we always like to share everything that we can so that we help others. And in the end, there will be some key takeaways. And for the companies that are willing to implement this, hopefully it will be inspiring. And I will also leave some links with more information about bug bounty programs that we wrote in Visma, but also articles that are written by a specialized platform called Integrity. They are our partners right now in terms of bug bounty, but I will tell you more later, because I will also have a slide about bug bounty platforms, providers, and some of the most common tools that the hackers use. Good, but about Visma, a few words about the company. Maybe you've seen the people running around here with Visma t-shirts, and on the back it is written that we are champions of cloud software solutions. Indeed, this is the reality. We are #1 in Europe in providing cloud software solutions, and I'm very proud to be part of the company. What we do is we deliver software for small businesses, but not only, also for medium and large enterprises. Of course, we have a large and diverse technology stack and lots of partners and distributors. If we talk about numbers, then we are more than 15,000 employees. Out of those, 5,000 are developers. We mainly operate in the ERP, HRM area, accounting, finance. So some of our solutions are mission critical, and the data that we protect is really sensitive. So that's why we needed to build a security team that helps all these companies to improve their security posture. As you see here, there are 300 new companies that joined Visma in the last decade, and the rate of new acquisitions is around 30 to 40 new companies each year. So it is really challenging to have a good security on such a scalability that we have in Visma, and in time this will increase, so we need to sustain this. That's why we developed a program called VSP. Now, what is VSP? Basically, it protects 4 areas of activities: the applications, the solutions, the infrastructure, and the people. We are surrounded by threats, we are on the internet, and we are being targets. For us, in the security world, we always like to say that it's not a question of if you will be hacked, but when you will be hacked. So that's why you really need to invest in security, and that for Visma it was a priority since the years already to improve the security of our applications and solutions, and that's why we have around 60 people right now in the security team working on different services. You see here many abbreviations. I will try to briefly explain some of them. So we do, for example, static application security testing. We are using here Polaris and Coverity, 2 scanning tools for this, or software compositions analysis, scanning the third-party components. In this moment, we use Aikido, where we work with Sneak also. Cyber threat intelligence, scanning the dark web to see if there are mentions, any kind of mentions regarding Visma or someone selling, for example, credentials or exploiting something. And we also have our own internal penetration test. Now, bug bounty and responsible disclosure is the last layer of verification that we offer in the applications and the solutions area, meaning that the internal teams that want to be part of these programs first need to perform some internal tests, and only then they become good candidates to join the program. Now, in the other areas, of course, we also have a global SOC team that is helping the internal teams in case of incidents. We do phishing simulations and awareness campaigns, and all these things that you see here are meant to help our companies to take good security decisions every day, but in the same time letting them choose what they need and making them completely independent. Us in the security team, our job is to help them with the onboarding process and get the best of our services. So that's what we do in bug bounty. But first, I want to say a few words about hacking and hackers, and maybe demystify some myths, because you will see in this presentation that not all the hackers are bad. So according to their activity, they fall into 3 main categories. Maybe you heard about white hats, black hats, gray hats, and so on. You have here the description of each category. Now, the main differences between white hats and black hats is the fact that white hats will always tell you what they have found, and they have explicit permission from the owner to do this. They are also called security researchers or ethical hackers, and they do this for money, yes, but they do this also to improve their skills, to innovate. They are very creative, and I always like to name them unicorns. While the black hats are the cyber criminals and the malicious one that do this, they are part of criminal organizations, most of them, or they are even worse, they are state-sponsored. So what we do in Visma is to get help from the ethical hackers and protect ourselves from the bad guys. Now, in between, there are the gray hats. These guys hopefully will become white hats at some point. They may violate some ethical standards, but in most of the times they don't do this intentionally, friendly and they want to learn. They are some of them script kiddies, meaning that they get used of the tools developed by others to perform their hacks. And as you see, all of them, the three categories are motivated by the money. That's what they have in common. And now I will jump into the bug bounty world and explain you some concepts about this. So bug bounty, that's what it is. It's the way of using the help of the ethical hackers or security researchers to secure the company's assets. And we do this in a legal manner by publishing our programs on specialized platforms. Now, there are some other similar tests that are usually being done by the companies. One of them is penetration tests. There you pay the penetration testers in a time-bound manner to search for vulnerabilities in your applications. The main difference compared to a bug bounty program is the fact that the tests in a bug bounty program are being performed continuously, while in a penetration test you have only 1 or 2 weeks for testing. Also, the number of testers. We talk about 1, 2 people looking at your stuff in the same time, while in a bug bounty program, maybe you have thousands of researchers. If we speak about private programs, then I will explain also the types of programs that a company can have. But in those private programs are more restricted, and then the number of hackers is limited. For us in Visma, for example, we have 300 people invited in the private program, so you cannot compare 2 people with 300 people looking at your applications in the same time. Plus, they come from external, and they are being creative and always find something that couldn't be found internally. For us in Visma, we have an internal penetration testing team that is available for all the companies to test themselves if they want. So that's the strength of a bug bounty program. The number of eyes of expertise and their specialized skills. Some of the most common bug bounty platforms, I put here 5 of them. There are more, but these are the most known. HackerOne, they are the biggest on the market, and they are Americans. We had the chance to work with them for 2 years in the beginning when we launched our bug bounty programs, and after that we decided to move to Integrity, which is the number 1 European bug bounty platform. From the collaboration perspective, I must say that we worked well with both of them. We can be more close to Integrity just because they are a smaller company and they have a customer success manager which is available anytime we need him. So yeah, really good collaboration with both, and right now getting the help from Integrity. Some of the most known tools that the hackers use. So in case you want to implement such a program in your company, I totally recommend to have Burp Suite installed. That's a tool developed by Portswigger, and it acts like a proxy, a web application security testing tool, probably the most known and the most used by the hackers. So what it does, it's intercepting the HTTP, HTTPS traffic, and you are able to see the requests, modify them, and see the responses. So that's how most of the POCs that we get in the reports are written used Burp Suite. Nmap, it's a network mapping tool, and then FFUF, which is a web fuzzing tool for directory discovery. And here I will tell you also a story, because this tool was developed by one of the hackers invited in our private program a few years ago. He got hired in Visma, and guess what? Now he's my manager. Okay, so in regards of program types, there are different types of programs that a company can have. Luckily, we have them all. So I'll explain a bit the differences. A public program means that you take the benefits from all the hackers that have an account on a certain bug bounty platform, meaning that anyone that wants and has a user there on the bug bounty platform will see the domains that are added into the scope. While in a private program, the scope is more limited. And you invite the hackers that you want inside the private program. So our approach is, of course, to invite the best ones on the platform, and that leads to a better quality compared to the public program. Still, the average of valid reports per team, it's pretty similar. And the difference is because, I mean, not the difference, they are the same because in public there are thousands of hackers, while in private, as I said, we have around 300 hackers invited. Also, in our case, most of our teams need pre-created accounts in order to be able to test their domains. So they need to create those accounts in advance and provide them to the hackers. So here we have limitations from this point of view. That's the reason why most of our teams and products are part of the private program, because in a public program you don't have control over how many will test. And our approach is to move from private to public, the ones that want this and have the possibility to give enough credentials to the hackers. And now I will explain a bit responsible disclosure, because it is also a public program. Responsible disclosure meaning having a policy inside your company to get in a legal manner the reports from ethical hackers. But the difference compared to a bug bounty program is the fact that on responsible disclosure, usually companies don't offer money. In our case, we offer swags because they like swags a lot. And as a sign of appreciation, we list them on the Security Hall of Fame. So I will also have a slide dedicated to responsible disclosure, because I think it's very important to have this, and it's probably the first step to do the work of sending reports in a legal manner. Live hacking events are exclusive events, and actually it is a competition between the hackers, and they are usually organized by the companies for 2 weeks. We had the chance to have two such live hacking events. One was online and the other one was physical. On the physical one, we also had the chance to meet the hackers in the last days of the event. So it was very nice to actually see the people for real. Those guys that you work with for some time. Some of them are engaged in our programs for years, and it was a good chance to see them. Live hacking events are a very good opportunity to secure your assets very fast. As results, you see here more than 360 submissions, and we spent around 90K during the online event, and on the other one, which was physical, more than 700 submissions and around 190K euro spent. Important to mention, the second one was organized for one of the biggest applications, accounting applications in Visma. So it is very big indeed, one of the biggest and important applications, but very good results. So now the teams have had the chance to fix the vulnerabilities that were found during the event. And why responsible disclosure? I think it's the easiest way that you can implement in order to get help from ethical hackers. The results that we have on responsible disclosure with a limited budget, any Visma asset is in scope for responsible disclosure, so everything that they find about us on the internet and they can test, they are allowed to do this, just that we don't pay money there. As I said, we just offer them a Hall of Fame and swags for the medium plus severity reports. Not to be ignored, the result after running it for more than 5 years. Those 1,000 reports that you see on this slide, they were all fixed as the result of the program. Out of those, 91 were criticals. And when I say critical bug, I mean game over for that application. That's what it means. You will see later also some types of critical bugs that we get. It is easy to implement a responsible disclosure program. You don't even need to be subscribed to a bug bounty platform. You can publish this on your own website, just have a legal manner of reporting it, and I have linked here our policy. Feel free to get inspired. Bug bounty journey for us started some years ago. First attempt of bug bounty was in 2016 in Finland. That was a very limited private program with only 4 domains and added into the scope, and we had some budget left and we wanted to give it a try, see how it goes. And of course, immediately we started to see the results, like reports coming in after a few minutes after starting the program. Some of them also criticals, and then this was the proof for the management that it's very good to have such a program. And then the first milestone was in 2019 when bug bounty was approved at corporate level, and we were allowed to do this for all and help all the Visma teams that want to be part of it. What we did is that we started to create an onboarding process and to create awareness about it. And in the first year, we had around 30 teams and 40 domains, URLs, added into the private Visma private scope. Back then, it was on HackerOne. 1 year later, we launched the public program, and then we moved to integrity, and our approach is to continuously add new domains because that's a very good way of keeping the hackers in engagement continuously. They always like fresh scope because they know that they will find things there. So 2024, there were some changes indeed in the way we budget the program. First, we were able to pay from the security team budget completely. All the bugs were paid from our budget, but it was not scalable anymore with the company expanding so much yearly. And it was decided to change a bit the approach. And right now, first 10K euro are offered by us from the security team budget, and all the rest needs to be paid by the team themselves. So that's how we did it with the budget, from the budget point of view. And I promised I also share the requirements that the internal teams have in order to join the program. So I must say that the most important, what we require, is to have 0 known vulnerabilities when they join. Meaning you need to perform the internal tests and everything that is being found internally that might result in a bounty. So those practical vulnerabilities, not theoretical findings, those that we would pay for, need to be fixed before jumping into the program. And of course, the reason is that we don't want to pay for something that we can find ourselves. After that, and sometimes it takes months for some of the teams to be able to achieve this, I must say this. So for some of them, it is pretty fast and they are able to fix pretty fast and start the program. But for the big teams, those that have many endpoints and many functionalities, it's sometimes, it takes some time until they are able to join. They also have to put some effort and work in preparing the environment. We always recommend to use a staging environment or a separate testing environment just for bug bounty, so that from safety reasons, of course, we don't want to do harm on the production, even though they don't do this intentionally. I've seen this in the period of time since I'm doing bug bounty. None of them wanted to harm our application intentionally. But still, it is safer to go with a testing environment and not production. And then they have to commit to validate the bugs in maximum 4 business days. Why we do this? Main reason is that because we want to maintain the hackers' engagement, and they always like to have validation for the reports and also, of course, to get the money as soon as possible. And then we need to communicate this to the internal teams. They need to be fast and validate the bugs. Validation means they need to verify the bug and just give us a short answer: yes, I accept this, I will fix it, and we consider it valid. That's all. They do not have to fix them in 4 business days, just to validate it. Fixing time is 90 days, reasonable, I think, and for the critical bugs, it's 5 business days. But I'm telling you that usually when they get a critical bug, it takes like 24 hours maximum to fix it. That's how critical it is, the situation. We use automation also in the bug bounty program. first thing that we did was to automate the way we provide the credentials to the hackers. It was getting harder and harder once we enrolled more and more teams in the programs. We used to do this manually and send the credentials via email to the hackers, but that was not sustainable anymore, so we needed to do something about this. And we developed our own tool for credentials management, which is open source, so if there is anyone that wants to get use of it, please feel free to. By the way, the presentation will be shared. We have a Visma blog post on visma.se, and there you will also have the link to this presentation so that you can have a look on the links that are shared here. So we are completely transparent from this point of view. It is a very easy tool with an admin and a hacker interface, and the hackers are able to log in, get access to the domains that are in scope corresponding to the program where they are, and they are able to self-claim the credentials, and every time they need them, they can have access to them. So it's very easy. And then we have Integrity Jira integration. That's a very good thing to have. If the bug bounty platform can offer this, in our case it does, and it was possible with HackerOne as well. It is very useful to have this because you get the reports in the bug bounty platforms, and there's a one-to-one synchronization internally, meaning that the internal teams have access to the reports immediately after they are sent in the bug bounty platform. So, and it's only one direction in our case, from Integrity to Jira. That's because we don't want the hackers to see the internal communication, of course. So what is written in Jira, it is not anymore pushed back in Integrity. And we have a tool for statistics called retrofitting. We use these tools to monitor the costs per team, very useful to see which are the top 10 bug types that we get and which are the resolution times of the internal team. So it is used for all kinds of measurements. Okay, but bug bounty vulnerabilities. The most common bugs that we get are from the same family. If you look here on the chart, what is with mauve and pink, they are all part of access control problems. Regardless if we speak about IDORs or insecure direct object reference or privilege escalations, they are all part of the same family. And for example, an IDOR, what does it mean? It means that there are no access control checks in place, and by simply modifying the ID of an object, you are in the request, you are able to see in the response information that you wouldn't be allowed to see otherwise. So this is the most common bug that we get in Visma, and I think this is common for all the companies that have or run a bug bounty program. What is important and the takeaway from this is the fact that these bugs cannot be found with automated tools for scanning. So you need to be a human, you need to understand the application flow and the functionalities in order to be able to find these bugs. So you really need to test manually in order to find them. 55% right now of the bugs that we get are access control problems. So I think that's one of the most valuable takeaways from a bug bounty program and also from our experience. The fact that still the human mind, the creativity of the human mind is very much involved, and besides the scanning tools that all the companies are using, and also including the hackers, they also use tools for scanning a lot, and they use AI and so on, but still there is the need of the human touch in order to find certain types of bugs. Second place is represented by XSS, cross-site scripting, reflected or stored. On XSS, what the attacker can do is to insert a script into the code of the application, and then the normal user gets that link from the attacker, clicks it, the script executes, and it can result in stealing the cookies of the user, getting access to sensitive data, or even worse, it can be sometimes escalated to account takeover. Now, these bugs are usually considered medium severity. If you are wondering how much we pay for such a bug, in private, we pay 500 euros, while in the public program, we pay 250 euros for such a bug. And now, in terms of critical bugs, I was telling you that critical bugs mean game over for the application. The most common ones that we get, are SQL injections, then remote code executions, account takeover through different created methods, and also access control problems which have higher than medium, higher impact. They can be also assessed as critical sometimes. We had for example, some time ago, an application where they found an IDOR, and by modifying that ID of an object, they were able to dump all the users from the system. So, of course, that one we really paid as critical, not as medium. Now, SQL injections, not sure exactly if there is anyone here from the security field and knows what it is. Okay, great. So, yeah. SQL injection means compromising the database by inserting an malicious SQL statement in the input field. And remote code execution means executing remotely code on a machine and compromising the entire system. So then account takeover, of course, getting access to an account that you are not authorized. And then if you have access to that account, you have access basically to the information that it has, so sometimes it may be also sensitive information. Good, but critical bugs are found by exceptional people. And I have a story about this report, which was gotten during the life hacking event that we organized for one of the most important teams, accounting teams in Visma. We paid more than 9,000 euro for this bug, one of the most expensive so far. And what they did, it was a team of hackers. Sometimes during the life hacking events, they team up and they find even more impactful findings like this one. They called themselves the VIS Magicians, and they won the prize, the award for the best team. So what they did is they found a CSS injection into a third-party component called Print6ML. That was a PDF to HTML converter used by the team. That was part of the scope, and they managed to escalate the CSS injection first to local file inclusion, then to SSRF, server-side request forgery, and that led to getting access to the internal API and compromising the entire application. This was, of course, fixed immediately by the team. It was reported to the provider as well, and they fixed it and released the version 15 of Print6ML. And after that, the hackers asked us for permission to write an article about it. Of course, we needed to ask for permission from the responsible team, and we got it. They were happy to be able to share this. So the article is linked here on this slide. Feel free to have a read up if you want, because it's definitely worth it. They are really unicorns, and they are very creative, and you will be impressed by the way they work. And here you have an example on how we communicate with them and how fun it is to work with them. So, what do you think? Is it worth it? There's a lot of money involved, and you need budget. Definitely you need budget, and you need support from management to be able to run such a program. In our case, we paid so far more than 1 million euro in bounties. These are all-time stats, by the way. So since 2019, this is the amount that we paid for the hackers. But imagine that for a critical finding, and we have around 50 criticals. We rarely get them, indeed, but if they would have been exploited in the wild, for sure the company would have lost more money. So 1 million euro, it's not much in 5 years compared to how much the company would have lost in case of security breaches. Most of the reports that we get in bug bounty are valid reports, and that's because the quality of the hackers that are invited, their skills are very good. So if I am comparing this to responsible disclosure, where we also get crap reports, then of course the difference is made by the fact that they are professionals and they get the money for it. And I've identified some factors in order to have a successful program, because I like to say that our bug bounty program is successfully, and hopefully it will be like this in the future. I think the most important is to have speed. And when I say speed, I mean be fast with triage, with validation of the reports, pay immediately after triage and don't wait for the bugs to be fixed. They want to get the money fast to keep them engaged. And also ask your teams to fix the bugs as fast as they can, because in this way you will avoid some work. Like for example, when getting duplicates, that's because most of the times the initial bug was not fixed. A duplicate means finding the same vulnerability on the same endpoint, and then only the first one that finds it will get the money, all the rest will be closed as duplicates. So then if the initial one is fixed fast, of course it will not be found the second time. So it's important also to fix them. Maintain the hackers' engagement. How we do this, we are being always fair and consistent and always explain the decisions, meaning that act in the same way in the same situation, because some of them speak one to each other, for example. They are from the same community, they know each other. It's very important to treat them equally and be fair and as transparent as you can. And also to organize special events like live hacking events, or maybe special campaigns for retesting some old domains and getting the focus on them will also keep them engaged. And being transparent, I think it is also very important, and it's important to do this internally. How we do it is by having the bug bounty project in Jira publicly available for all the Visma employees. We want them all, even if they don't have the bug bounty experience and they are not yet part of the program, we want them to have access to the reports and learn from them. That's the purpose. And then be transparent with the hackers, of course. They appreciate this, not giving them confidential information, but be as transparent as you can. And with the customers, I think that's how you build trust. Speaking about these things, being open about them, and giving the opportunity to everyone to learn from your experience. Okay, and key takeaways. First one, I think bug bounty culture isn't about blame. We experience sometimes internal teams that are being ashamed by the fact they got too many reports. But after they fix the bugs that they get, they definitely become more secure. I think it is very important to be confident and to know that everyone is a target, and it's not a shame to have bugs and vulnerabilities in your systems. You just need to take all the measures or the possible measures to avoid this. So yes, indeed, it's a lot of teamwork. We collaborate a lot in the triage team, which is basically the security team. We collaborate a lot with the hackers and with the internal teams as well, because there we always wait for their opinion when deciding on a report. We don't accept the report until we have the final word from the team. Sometimes there are issues that are by design in a certain way. Of course, those are usually low severity, but still, you need to have the word from the team that has developed the application in order to accept it correctly. So I think all the teams, internal teams that are part of this program have now the hacker mindset, and they can learn from their mistakes. They can see how the hacker thinks, and it's a good opportunity for everyone to develop and to become more confident. And I wouldn't lie. There are some stressful situations. Sometimes we get kicked by the reports in the next 2-3 minutes after we launch a new target into the scope, and that's normal for a bug bounty program. Sometimes we get, for certain teams, many reports, like hundreds of reports in 1 week. Usually the first weeks are more busy, because then they are focusing. They know for sure that they will find low-hanging fruits, and then they test very much in the beginning. So it's a lot of work and stressful situations sometimes for us in the security team, but also for the development teams. But in time, we improve this also. So yes, happy to be here to share the knowledge, and hopefully it will help other companies to do the same. And also in this sense, I've linked here some articles written by us in Visma in regards of ethical hacking and the Visma bug bounty programs, along with some links from Integrity. In case you want to get started with this, totally recommend to get the help from a bug bounty platform. And these articles are public on Integrity. Feel free to have a look. There are all kind of stats done together with their hackers community and all kind of information related to the crowdsource security for businesses, so really helpful. The link to the presentation, because there are many links shared here, feel free to access it on the visma.se blog. As far as I know, it is not yet my presentation there uploaded, but it will soon be, so feel free to have a look after. So with that, I want to say thank you to everyone who attended my presentation, and I leave here my contact details. I forgot to tell you that I am known in the community as the mother of hackers. And that's because I always try to be nice, consistent, explain them decision, try to keep their engagement. So I got the nickname from my colleagues, and that resulted in a Twitter account where I keep in touch with the hackers and letting them know about the important updates on our programs. And then I have LinkedIn and the company email where you can reach out in case you need help. From my experience, I am happy to help you. And now I'm waiting for your questions. Thank you. Yes. Thank you. Great. Okay. Yes. National from my country, you mean? Or? Ah, for the whole country. You will remind me after. Yes. Okay, good. So first one was about the national, right? To be honest, I'm not sure exactly if in my country we do have other companies that implemented bug bounty. Probably yes. What I can definitely say is that we do have Romanian hackers, and they are very good. They were also part of our life hacking events, and I think some of them also won some of the awards there. So they are really good guys. About Sweden, I am pretty sure there are national institutions that have at least, if not bug bounty programs yet, maybe at least responsible disclosure. In my opinion, it should be a standard for everyone, regardless if we speak about public institutions or private. And that's the first step to try to get help from the external security researchers by having a responsible disclosure program published. It is very easy. And this is related to your second question. We published first, we started on the Visma website. It is still there listed on the Visma Trust Center, the responsible disclosure program. It was for some, I think, 3 or 4 years like this. And after that, when we moved to Integrity, we were unlimited in the number of programs that we were able to launch. So then we took the opportunity and launched it also on Integrity. Definitely, I can say that there was an increase in the number of reports since we moved there in Integrity, because it's a specialized community that does this, and their security researchers community looking. Some of them are beginners, yes, and there are some maybe not so good quality reports, but as you saw in the results, there are many, many reports that were fixed as a result of this. And the third one, sorry? Secure development. So I can definitely say that the teams, at least from my experience with the teams that I work in the bug bounty program, because they have that hacker mindset now, and they see how they find the vulnerabilities, how they create the reports, what tools they use. Because of course, in the POC, everything is listed. You just need to follow the steps, and it's very easy to reproduce them. And then I like to say that they have this hacker mindset, and they will use it in their future code development. So that's my opinion. Yes. I share on Twitter, I post updates about our programs. And to be honest, I don't really share on Twitter. I'm not that active in this sense. Maybe in LinkedIn, all the times when we write articles, I've been part of some articles in Visma also, those that are linked here, and there are some more if you search on the Visma website. So definitely, I think it's important to share the information, and that's why I'm here today. And I've been attending to other conferences as well. So, yeah, yes. Well, I was chosen, to be honest, to work in security. So the story is that I've been doing IT after I finished my studies, but I was working as application support engineer, meaning I was helping the internal teams in the company where I worked to get familiar with the different tools that were part of our department and had trainings for this. But also I worked on support, on working on the tickets and problems that appeared. So I pretty much had the background. I also did network security, which is like 20% of the security field. So I had, let's say, the prerequisites for starting in cybersecurity. I was given the chance to join Visma in the security team, and that's when I heard for the first time about working with ethical hackers through this kind of programs. Yeah, so, and we are lucky, I must say, we are lucky that we can have, and we have the budget for doing this and the management support. And how do I share? I share every day with the people that I know. I make them aware about the mistakes and the easy things that they can do and get compromised, and mainly with my kids, because I think it's important to educate them also. We organized, for example, in Visma Software Romania, a session just for the kids. They were grouped on different ages, and then we, of course, adapted the content based on this. But I was very surprised that they know more than we imagine. Okay. That? No questions? Yes, we are done. Thank you very much.